Aye, B. Aye, oi, oi, B. Bro, I'm trying to do the Australian guy for us. He's a subscriber. Oi, oi. Did I say oi?
Oi, Aussie guy. Oi. What do they say in Australia?
Good day. No. Oi,
Good
oi
eye.
is oi is what is
Oi.
oi? Who could say
French?
No, oi.
We? Is it?
Oi. Or is it English?
Ah, good
No.
eye. It's good eye, mate.
Okay.
They call each other mate.
Good day, mate.
What's up? What's up, mate?
We're gonna be doing part 2 of Jen today.
Ooh, part 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
Remember where we left off?
I remember it very clearly.
What happened? Give us a little synopsis.
I forget. I was lying.
So I think they were talking about the text messages.
Yeah, they were talking about the text. He was just getting into the group chat.
Yeah.
And which I'm dying to see. Like, I wish he could say what was in the chat. What were you guys all chatting about? But he's limited to what he can ask.
Right.
So.
Right.
But yeah, they were just getting into the texts and the chats.
Bread and butter. She was really uncomfortable too.
Correct. Yeah. If you just watched part 1, yeah, she's getting real biatchy.
Well, Action Jackson said, "Look at this," and she's like, "Oh shit!"
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Scanning.
And I love the slow motion eye roll.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and we were also talking about watch her body language.
Yep.
When she gets really animated,
yeah,
that's a tell for law enforcement,
mm-hmm.
ex-law enforcement, that she's being deceptive at some sort.
Yeah, there's a lot of triggers.
Yep. She's triggering me, I tell you what. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Say the words.
Roll it, Steve.
Yeah, boy.
Does it appear to you from this chat that Matt McCabe was directing witnesses, specifically Chris Albert, what to say to the news media?
Objection.
I'll allow that. Is that what you're seeing?
That is not.
I wasn't prepared for you to allow that.
I would understand this.
He never went in the, tell them he never went in the house was the story that had been concocted between and among this group of people on this chat, correct?
Objection.
Yeah.
I'll allow that.
No.
Oh.
John never went in the house. It wasn't a story. It was the truth. And it is the truth.
Just like she said I did.
Correct.
Ooh.
See how fast she looked down? Correct.
So according
it is
to
the
this
truth.
chat, at least, at the very base level, this is
gotta
one
read
witness
those papers.
telling another witness to give certain information to the media that could be useful to the group, correct? Tell them the guy never went in the house, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
Matt McCabe was directing Chris Albert. Chris Albert wasn't even at the house, was he?
Chris Albert was not at the house, no.
But this chat is Matt McCabe, your husband, telling Chris Albert, who was never at the house and would have no personal knowledge of what happened at the house, to specifically say, the guy never came in the house. The guy, by the way, being John.
Mm-hmm. John O'Keefe.
Yeah.
Right?
Why do they keep calling him the guy? How about
That's what he wrote.
disrespect?
They're just trying to separate themselves
Yeah.
from it, dude.
Yeah.
Does that sound to you a little bit like collusion?
Cover up. Yep.
Objection.
Sustained.
Doesn't sound like it? It is.
At some point, you sought
It
out
looks like a duck, walks like a duck.
It's a duck.
It's a Canton duck.
Kerry
We need to
Roberts'
investigate those ducks.
cell phone shortly after the 29th, or maybe not, maybe on the 29th, correct?
Correct.
You didn't have her cell number in your phone?
No.
One of your primary concerns was to make sure that you got in contact with Kerry Roberts before the day's end, right?
I wanted to speak to Carrie as she was on her way to the hospital, and I wanted to check in on John.
One of your primary concerns, Ms. McCabe, was that you wanted to make sure you got a hold of Kerry Roberts and had communication with her before the end of the day.
It had nothing to do with getting in touch with her by the end of the day. It was a friend reaching out, wondering how her friend was doing, who was just taken off the front lawn.
On the 29th.
Yes.
So before the end of the day, Ms. McCabe, you can do this all day long. Before the end of the day, you were trying to get a hold of Kerry Roberts, correct?
Immediately in the morning, I wanted to get in touch with her.
Right. So you sought out her phone number. First you tried my client, Karen Reed, correct?
Correct.
But then you found another source for that information. Is that right?
Correct.
And you said just a second ago you were claimed that you needed that information because you knew that she was on the way to see John O'Keefe's parents,
She was picking them up.
and you wanted to check on them.
Correct.
You've been friends with the O'Keefe family for years, haven't you?
Correct.
So you didn't have a need to get Carrie
Call them.
Roberts' phone number, did you?
I wanted to speak with Carrie, see how she was doing. I was not going to call Peg.
You had her phone number, didn't you?
I do, yes.
So if you wanted to check on somebody, you could have just called her.
I was not going to call Peg O'Keefe on the way to see her son at the hospital.
To check on your friend? That was just too much?
I wanted to ask Carrie. I'm sure she was boggled down and probably did not want to speak with anyone. It was a simple thing. I made sure I got Carrie Roberts' number so I could check in and see how John was doing. Also, we had just been through an extremely traumatic event
Hold
together.
on, pause it, Steve.
There's nothing.
So she called Carrie Reed to get her friend's phone number. I'd like to know how long she spoke to Karen Reed. Was it, if she's really concerned about, the well-being of her friends?
Well, no, she called Carrie.
Oh, Carrie.
Carrie, yeah,
Okay.
not Karen.
Okay.
She called Carrie.
All right. Disregard.
All right. Disregard, Steve.
Too many cases.
McCabe,
a lot of
because you wanted to make sure that you controlled her story as she left your site, correct?
Absolutely not.
Did you take any steps whatsoever to influence Carrie Roberts' statements?
No.
Because that would be collusion, wouldn't it?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you write a text to the group, including Bryon Albert, Nicole Albert, and Matt McCabe, where you informed them that, quote, and this is, Your Honor, on page 2158, where you informed them, quote, Carrie is here going over timeline, end quote.
Correct.
So you reported back to Bryon, Nicole, and Matt that Carrie was where?
She came over my house.
And you two sat down and went over a, quote, timeline together.
Peggy spoke to Carrie.
Yes or no? I didn't ask about Peggy.
That's all you need to know.
See how
That's all
she's
you-
talking
Mine
more?
Started at.
Did you ask Carrie, or did Carrie show up at your house and, quote unquote, go over a timeline with you?
Carrie showed up asking to sit down with me to do a timeline so we would remember everything that had happened.
And you wanted to be super helpful about that, right?
Objection, Your
What
Honor.
had happened? She wasn't there.
The thing is
Sure.
if
wanna
you
be
experience a
helpful
traumatic
to Carrie
situation, you're going to know exactly when
The
things
two
happen.
of us were trying to figure
Because
out
it's
what
ingrained in
had
your mind.
happened to our friend.
And so you made sure that you created and drafted with Carrie Roberts a timeline for her, correct?
I didn't make sure of anything. She was the one that asked me to do it.
And not only did you create a timeline, you then reported back to your group, Bryon Albert, Nicole Albert, Matt McCabe, that she was creating this timeline with you on February 1st, 2022. Isn't that right?
Yes.
After you created or drafted this timeline with Carrie, she actually sat for an interview with the police, did she not? That's not in the chats. I'm just asking. She sat down for an interview with the police, didn't she?
When?
You tell me. It's my question.
I'm not sure of when you're talking about.
Okay, let's start over.
Yes.
After this timeline was created on February 1st, at some point thereafter, Carrie Roberts conducted a formal interview with the police about this case, correct?
Do you have the report of that date?
We're sort of bearing the lead. She did the interview in your living room, ma'am. Right?
How dare you yell at
There
me?
was
She's like, oh
on
shit, that's right.
Tuesday, 2 officers came to the house and she sat in the other room and spoke with them.
So,
That would be an interview.
using my question, she did the interview at your house.
Oh, they came to my house to interview me, and she happened to be there. So they asked if they could speak with her also.
Okay. Did she or did she not do an interview at your house?
Did, yes.
That wasn't that hard.
Jeez. My gosh. Come on, lady.
I'm mentally tired already.
Weren't you?
I was eating dinner.
You were present for the interview, Miss McCabe,
I was in the house, yes.
and you listened to that interview, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
You made sure you gave Carrie Roberts
She was like,
everything she needed for that interview, correct? Quote,
Exactly.
Everything she might need
Yeah.
for that interview, didn't you?
yeah.
And where is this that you're quoting
I'm
from?
asking you.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you quoted, I thought it was in here. I apologize.
We'll get to it in a second.
You should take those papers away
Tell
from her.
her everything that you wanted her to say.
No, I did not.
Did you in any way attempt to influence her testimony before she gave that interview in your living room?
Absolutely not. Carrie is her own person.
That's why I created a
Then you
timeline.
did report her progress to the Albert and McCabe group in that group chat,
You
didn't
see
you?
it in her face when she lies.
Can you show me where, please?
Sure. Isn't it true that in a group text with Bryon Albert, Nicole Albert, Matt McCabe, you wrote, and this is on page 2159, quote, and we handed handed phone to Carrie. You remember that?
I see that, yes.
And the very next text is from you telling the group she's telling him everything in all caps, 2 exclamation points.
Yes.
And then you went on to say at 2:55 p.m., at basically the same moment, quote, all this stuff, end quote. Correct?
Correct.
So when you said a couple of minutes ago that you weren't listening to what she was saying, that was a lie, wasn't it?
We're talking about 2 different interviews. I'm talking about when the officers came to my house and spoke to her there. You're saying that I handed the phone over, so that would be a different interview.
McCabe, this is on February 1st at 2:55. I wasn't there. You were there. She was in your house on February 1st giving an interview to the police, wasn't she?
One day she was there giving an interview to the police.
And while she was there,
But I do not believe it was at 2:55. It was later in the evening. So I think you might have 2 events confused.
so either way, whether she was on the phone with the police or sitting there in your living room with the police, you were listening to her and reporting back to the group. She's telling them everything.
No, it's not correct. The one that she did with the police, she did in the other room. And the one she did on the phone, I said, she's telling them everything.
I know.
Because
I know.
Carrie is an extremely blunt person, and she was giving
Let her run.
personal
Let her run.
feelings about the situation. And I was horrified by it.
To the police.
To the police.
And you're listening.
I heard a statement she said that horrified me.
And then you're reporting it back to the group, weren't you?
What was the statement?
That one thing she stated, I reported back to the group, yes.
So you're
What did she
listening
say?
in on
Hold
the
on,
police
pause it,
interview,
Steve.
correct?
What do you think she said?
The thing is, this is one statement sets her off. It wasn't one statement. It was a whole interview.
She says she's telling them everything. That means everything.
Right? She would say, if she's telling them about this,
Right.
she'd be specific.
Right. So the fact that she's saying, "Well, I heard her say one statement," and it's every. How is one statement everything? And
Right.
what was that one statement? I
Yeah.
would love to know what she said.
Yeah.
That leads them to everything.
The thing is she's fabricating that one statement,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
For the cover up of
For
she's
the
telling
cover-up.
them everything.
Yeah. Because she probably was telling him everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, did it get written down? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. And we all know if they didn't write it down,
It didn't happen.
Phone call.
One side of it, right?
It was a phone call.
You're listening in on a police interview, one side of it, correct?
Correct.
You're eavesdropping on that interview, correct?
I'm sitting with her and she's taking the call.
And then you're reporting that interview back, or her success in that interview, in your mind, back to the group involving Bryon Albert, Nicole Albert.
see that eye roll?
Isn't that what you're doing?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
I absolutely not.
Side eye.
That is not
Side
how
eye.
it went. I was horrified because Carrie's a blunt person, not like me. And she had made a comment about Miss Reed and Mr. O'Keefe's relationship. And I was shocked and horrified that she said it the way that she did.
You're so shocked and horrified that
I said, oh my God, she's telling them everything. Yes.
decided it
That
was
doesn't
so
make sense.
important that you needed to report that back to Bryon Albert and his friends.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I was horrified.
It doesn't
You
make sense,
reported
though.
that back.
Yes, I said she
Yeah.
told them everything.
But what's
When
everything?
you were first confronted with these messages at a separate proceeding in June of 2023, you claimed that you couldn't remember what that exchange was about, correct?
Correct.
And now you just all of a sudden have this newfound memory of exactly what that text message was referring to, correct?
Objection.
Well, they just figured out what she's going to
Yes,
say.
because Kerry Roberts said a statement and it jogged. I said, oh my God, that's what I meant when I said she said everything.
When did she say
God damn woman. Apologies.
Probably in the fall. She has made this statement a few times in reference to Karen.
you and Kerry Roberts are still coordinating your statements together?
Oh, no, we're not. It's just an opinion she has of Miss Reed.
And all
Oh,
of a
yes,
sudden
you
that
are.
became your, quote, everything. All this stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't just become it. I forgot that I had written it, and one day Kerry made the statement, and I'm sure it happens to everyone. You forget something.
Dude, if you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you.
I'm
I
not
got a
sure
bridge
that
to
how
sell
it's
you.
there.
Right along if you believe this.
Sustained.
Let me ask you
She
a
is
different
so
question.
full of crap.
You were asked under oath a year ago, when it was things were fresher in your mind. You were asked specifically what you were referring to, and your answer was, "I have no idea." Correct?
Correct.
Because you didn't want to tell them that you had coordinated your statement with Kerry Roberts. Isn't that right?
No, that is not right. I did not remember what it was.
Went on to be asked specifically, do you know who you were referring to? And you said, maybe Kerry, maybe. I'm talking to Kerry. And the question was, but you don't recall this text? And your answer was, I don't remember. That's what you testified to a year ago, correct?
Correct.
But now you're talking about some memory.
Her memory gets better as time goes farther away.
Kerry Roberts has
Pause
with
for
my
a second,
client.
see.
And that's the
She's got incredible memory.
Okay, I'm going to say this to our members and our subscribers. This was recommended by them to us, right? You have to do Jen. You have to do Jen.
Correct.
Okay, my blood pressure is about ready to blow up, son.
Yeah.
If we're going to have medical come pick us up, don't recommend any more stuff to us, please. I'm 56 years old. My ticker can't take that kind of stuff, bro. It's pounding out my chest right now. Roll it, Steve.
Yes, the things that she was saying.
quite obviously
Like what?
what you were referring to in that text in real time, Ms. McCabe, was that Kerry Roberts was telling the police, quote, everything that you had laid out for her in this
Everything
timeline
is
meeting you had with her,
Plural, not
correct?
singular.
Objection.
So it's sustained as to that form. You can ask that question in a proper way.
The everything you referred to in that text in real time was what you had worked out with Kerry in that timeline meeting, wasn't it? That was the everything you were referring to, correct?
Incorrect. We never worked together to come up with a story. We have the facts, and the everything was a comment about your client.
You went on in your group chat with Bryon Albert, Nicole Albert, and Matt McCabe to give running updates about whether or not Kerry Roberts was actually following the script, correct?
Incorrect. There was no script.
167.
I'm going to correct you real
Matt
quick.
McCabe texted the group, Bryon, comma, sitting separate, end quote, correct?
Yes.
It sounds like Matt McCabe is reporting back to Bryon Albert, following your instructions, we're sitting separately.
Objection.
Sustained.
Sounds like it to me. Objection sustained, of course, because it's damaging to their case.
1 minute later, Bryon Albert had a one-word response to the Bryon sitting separate, correct?
Yes.
What was that one-word response?
Okay.
It sounded like he was giving his approval for where people were situated in that meeting, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
At page 2168, 515.
It's very hard to just look at two texts and try to understand what
Bullshit.
the context
No, it's
is.
Ms. McCabe,
It's-
if you
it's
don't
highlighted.
understand a question that I have, just let me know. But otherwise, let me ask
Yeah.
the question. 21.
Yeah. Don't play.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
she is.
On
but
page 20.
I won't say it.
She's pussyfooting around.
168.
She's acting like an idiot.
515, you wrote to the group, quote, "You listening?" Correct?
Yes.
And at the same time, 5:15, you then wrote, "Cops here again," end quote. Correct?
Correct.
That was in reference to the police coming over to your house to further interview Carrie Roberts, wasn't it?
That was when they came to talk to me.
And Carrie Roberts was there.
Was
correct?
at my house, correct?
And a few minutes later at 5:23, Nicole Albert texts, "Call us after." Correct?
Correct.
And a few minutes after
You can
that,
tell us everything he asked you.
Matt McCabe
Talk about what he asked.
This girl could write a book, ... nonstop. Correct?
Correct.
So obviously Matt McCabe, along with you, was
We're
listening to Carrie Roberts give her interview.
Yep.
We were sitting in the kitchen eating dinner with our children, and Carrie Roberts was in a different room, but she was going on and on and on
How do you
as
know?
she does because they were in the other room.
And you could listen.
I could
You
hear
could hear 'em.
voices.
You could hear her interview with the police.
Did not hear her interview. I could hear them talking, but I was sitting at a table with my children eating dinner, getting ready to go to a basketball game.
You then responded to Matt McCabe. I love it.
Yes, he's
Yes.
Eating dinner with your children is
You
irrelevant.
responded
See how she's
about
throwing that
this
in there?
interview you
To make
just
her seem more
testified
motherly,
under oath and
warm.
under penalty of perjury, not hearing anything about, just hearing voices. Your next text was, quote, "She is telling them everything,"
Yes.
end quote. Correct?
Yes.
So how did you hear
You said
or
just
not?
a few minutes ago about not knowing what she was saying. I could just hear voices. That was a lie.
It was.
Okay.
Objection.
It is. Bev.
And a couple of seconds later, Nicole Albert responds, one word. What was her response?
Good.
So in order, those texts say, "You listening?" You say, "You listening?"
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection sustained.
At the end of the day, you were eavesdropping on an interview that Carrie Roberts was having with law enforcement in their official capacity, weren't you?
No, I was sitting eating dinner, and some of the things, obviously, I overheard, but I was not eavesdropping. I'm saying
whoa.
there's a
So you
possibility.
did or you
if I'm
didn't?
sitting in this room eating dinner, and someone's in another room talking, you can hear bits and pieces. Was I eavesdropping? No. Is there
Yes,
something?
you were.
cover-up
Absolutely.
Absolutely
you were.
would.
Well, why, Ms. McCabe, does your testimony keep...
Anybody would be. We all would be.
You told this jury, you said, "I couldn't hear a thing. All I could hear was voices, like muffled voices from the other room." She was going on and on about something.
Yeah.
And then when I confronted you with the text message where you said, "She's telling them everything," now it's, "Well, I may have heard a couple of things." Which is it?
No, she was going on and on and on like she does.
And you were listening on and on and on like you do.
Like you
I
do.
was probably hearing bits and pieces.
Lie like a
So
She just
important to report back to the group that
Yeah.
you were happy that Carrie Roberts was saying, quote, "everything."
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Oh boy.
Wasn't ready for that one.
She wasn't.
Let me refresh my memory.
We had both lost our friend.
Oh, let's see the
Carrie
tear.
Roberts
Let's see.
was in shock, as was I in shock. The two of us had all this information that just kept coming back to us and back to us. And it was,
Reliving that's what it was.
it's terrifying when you go through an experience and you're in shock. And Carrie was remembering things. I was remembering things. So I was happy for her that she was piecing it all together, and I had pieced it all together because at the end of the day, our friend was dead, and we were trying to figure out what had happened to him together. There was no direction. We were all trying to figure out what had happened because that's what you do when you lose somebody you love.
Were you happy for her, or were you happy for you and Bryon and Matt and Nicole?
For me and for her, because we were going through this together. There was no
You
conversation.
got the story out that you're trying to get out through Carrie Roberts. Right?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
There is no story. There's facts and truth on this side. There's no story. The story that you've created is not the truth.
Did I create? I hit him, or did you?
That's fact.
That's not
The fact that conveniently you didn't mention. in
You
your
didn't mention
The length,
in 12 reports.
grand jury, right? That kind of fact.
Objection.
Is that right?
That is the fact I mentioned. So in some reports, it's there.
The only person who went through something that
Fact is,
night
you
was
wanted
John
to keep very
O'Keefe,
close tabs
Officer John
on
O'Keefe,
Carrie Roberts.
and Karen Reed.
No.
She wasn't in shock and awe.
January 29th, if you look on page 2223, did you text the
Still
group?
not still dry eyes, right?
Carrie talked to cops.
Such a good friend, but
and
no
kept it
tears,
simple,
no nothing,
end quote.
no sympathy.
Yes.
Okay, it's becoming a habit for you to keep tabs on Carrie Roberts, isn't it? In the
Objection.
text?
Sustained.
You'll agree that
She's the weak link.
and
You gotta
over
keep her close.
She's the weak link,
Mhm.
dude.
over
Yep.
again.
So you gotta make sure she's tethered to you so you can hear everything she says.
Nicole, Bryon Albert, your husband, how Carrie's doing in her stories to the police, aren't you? Over and over and over.
'Cause we know if they tell
I
too
am
much, what
telling
happens?
them what is
Yeah.
You gotta
going
whack
on.
them.
I wouldn't say, well, let's count them. Was there 4 of them? You're saying over and over and over and over. It's a bit extreme.
I see. So you take issue with the way that I phrased over and over and over.
Well, it's misleading, I believe.
I see. Okay. Well, let me see if I can try this in a non-misleading way, Ms. McCabe.
Okay.
Get her
So at
out.
least one of us. I'll withdraw.
Yeah, can tell the truth. That's what he was gonna say. At least one of us can tell the truth today.
You consistently reported back to the group how Carrie Roberts was doing with the police, didn't you?
I would update them after Kerry saw and spoke to the police. Again, we were all trying to figure
Why would
out
you need
what
to?
had happened to John.
What business
There's yet
is it of
another
yours?
Text from
Let
Bryon
Carrie do it.
Cole on January 29th, and this is on page 2226.
She's got dry mouth, man. She's
And she
nervous.
says, quote, "We'll get more info tomorrow. Don't want to text about it," end quote. And then you texted, right, correct?
Correct.
What's that about?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Dude. Did you
She
see
was not
that?
ready.
She was not ready for that. Oh, here we go. She's like, thank
I'll allow
God.
it.
Objection. Excuse me, bitch? You just are going to make me answer that? Oh. Oh, look at that. She's like, you mother Bev. What the frig, Bev?
I thought we were on the same payroll.
Decided
Yeah, I
that
thought-
we would
yeah.
talk on the phone. My children look on my phone. Her children look on her phone. We were working with the police. I was sharing information and everything that had happened. We didn't want it to leave our little circle because we were trying to figure out what happened, and we're not going to go running around letting people see, oh my gosh, they think this might have happened or that might have
Who's
happened.
going to be looking at your phone to see all that?
Nothing more than let's not text about
Your
it.
kids are grown almost.
Your words.
He does not text about it because he can get the report.
Correct. I didn't want it all out there what we had thought had happened. I was going to let the police do their job.
So by definition, the info that Nicole Albert was talking about, that needed to be kept very tight, very secret, correct?
We needed the police to do their job, so we weren't going.
Texts.
But the police didn't do their
And
job.
the group wanted their texts to be kept secret and private. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Not secret and private. We just weren't going to communicate certain things over text.
Did you
Duh.
or did anybody give you any private information?
Of course they did.
the next day on January 30th?
Didn't even give me private information.
So let me put it in context. That text from Nicole Albert. We'll get
See what she
info.
did there? She repeated
We'll
the
get
question.
more info
right?
tomorrow. I don't want to text about it. That was on the 29th, right?
Okay.
So, did you get additional info on the 30th, the next day?
I have no idea.
Did anything significant happen on January 30th in connection with this case? Any meetings? Any get-togethers? Anything that you can think of?
I went to the O'Keefe's house.
Other than that, anything else?
On the way home, Kerry Roberts' daughter is good friends with Michael Lank. So we dropped her off at Michael Lank's house, and Mike's wife came out of the house. Him and Kerry are friends, and she, jumped in the car and was consoling Kerry and asks how the O'Keefes were doing, and we talked to her.
So you pulled up to Michael Lank's house on the 30th. That's never been reported, has it?
I guess I never thought much of it.
Never thought about reporting the fact that one of the first responding officers on the case, working for Canton PD, which is conflicted off the case, you had a meeting with that was unreported the next day?
I didn't meet with Michael Lank.
I see. So you pulled up in the car. Tell me about that again. You pulled up in the car, and what happened?
And Lex, her daughter, went into the house.
Okay. And then you just drove away?
No. Michael's wife came out of the house.
Okay. And y'all had a conversation about what?
She got in the car, and her and Kerry are friends, and she was checking on Kerry and, just
Checking on
saying, oh
Kerry
my
for
God,
what?
this is so crazy, just checking in on the O'Keefes.
How long did that take?
Well, Kerry's a talker, so could have been an hour.
Could have been hours.
An hour
A
Sitting
lot
in
you
the
can say in a lot.
Sitting in the car on February 30th.
for an hour checking on your friend.
Not February 30th.
I said February 30th. January 30th. Never went in the house?
I might have ran in to go to the bathroom.
It's the back end of a blizzard. It's freezing cold outside.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting in the car for an hour?
The car was running, Kerry, and they were talking.
I bet they were.
It's her
bet you I
friend.
can tell you what they were talking about. Her friend.
Did you have any conversation before your testimony today?
Well, like she was married to John O'Keefe, Officer John O'Keefe, right?
Michael Lank's house on
So
January
how is she so distraught?
Anybody?
Yes,
Tell me about that. Who was it and when?
it was a couple of weeks ago at the DA's office.
The DA's office had an interview with you, correct?
Not an interview, they just explained this process.
I mean, a conversation. How about that?
Yes.
You met with folks at the DA's office. Who'd you meet with?
Mr. Lally, Miss McLaughlin, Steve Nelson, Trooper Brian Tully, I believe, and another woman, I can't remember her name, unfortunately.
Someone from the DA's office?
Yes.
Beelan?
No.
Lynn Beelan?
No, she's here today. She works with Steve Nelson.
Ah. But an employee of the DA's office.
Yes.
That sounds like a pretty big meeting.
I wouldn't call it a big meeting. There was, 5 of them?
How long did you, 5 of them and then you, right?
My daughter Allie came with me also.
7.
The meeting's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
No, we both went.
You sure?
In the room when you were, I was going to say interviewed, but you take issue with every word I use. When you were talked to by the DA?
Allie and I were both in the room when they went over everything, how this all works, because this is all brand new to us. And then they asked me to leave the
No, it's
room.
not.
You're
The
married.
grand jury, yeah.
If you're married to a cop,
Yeah.
you know what the proceedings are.
Yeah. You're married to a cop is nothing really new.
You were about to say, and I lost the end of that sentence, when they received what?
I didn't mean the word received.
Did you receive anything?
No, I looked at my grand jury notes.
Now, at this meeting, was anybody taking notes?
No.
bunch of lawyers and DAs, and nobody has a notepad in front of them? Like
They
notes?
always have notepads.
I believe
Always.
Mr. Lally had a number of folders on the table.
Taking notes?
Lawyers love legal
I do not
pads.
believe anyone was taking
That's
notes.
what they
It
call
was a
legal
casual
pads.
meeting to explain this process.
Was that meeting recorded in any way that you're aware of?
No.
How long did the meeting last?
Allie and I were probably in the room, I don't know, approximately 20 minutes. Then I left and they spoke with her. And then I went back in and they spoke with me.
How long did they speak with you?
Honestly, maybe half hour.
And during that half hour to an hour, did they go over with you what they expected your testimony to be?
They never spoke about what they expected my testimony to be. They just showed me some pictures that might be shown. I listened to the 911,
What pictures?
just of the house and how I'd be asked to, show, okay, we're going to put a picture of the house and you'll have a laser.
Steve, pause it for a
We
second.
started this conversation.
Okay, so remember when we had the meeting with the DA after I shot the dude with the knives? How long was that meeting? I shot a guy and he died. What?
My stomach was rumbling, dude. It took a minute.
Probably about an hour.
Yeah.
Just about an hour.
For you, about an hour. For me, it was 45 minutes.
Yeah. So, and that was a shooting and a guy died. And it was at most, I want to say, about an hour.
And it was a justified shooting 100%.
100%. Yeah, I mean, the guy attacked me with knives. And,
There's no question about it. They were just going over the litigation part
Right.
of stuff.
but it's just that what did she witness so much that she had to be there for an hour?
right.
What did she see? I mean, this to me it would have been maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
At the most.
Yeah, because she didn't see any. I mean, she saw John, but then now they don't even know where the body was on the yard. Nobody can pinpoint that at all. But yet Jen's saying she saw him.
Nobody's taking notes.
Yeah.
Not recorded.
No.
Right.
Yep.
They were just trying to, corroborate everybody's story.
Yeah.
Listen. I don't know if Lollipop is dirty. He could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But this whole thing of them doing that meeting and nobody's taking notes and they're just saying they're talking about what's going to be happening and what questions they're going to be asking.
Yeah. It's almost like the
I
meeting.
don't like it.
It's almost like the meeting never happened.
Yeah. I don't like it, dude.
You know, it just seemed really long for what she saw and her role in this whole thing. It just seemed like.
But listen,
a little excessive,
I could
that's all.
see it going that long because she likes to talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
She likes to explain her
Yeah.
way out of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Brian Higgy when he said, "Hey, I didn't do anything wrong here."
Yeah.
That's exactly what she's doing.
Yep. And you did do something wrong.
You did.
And so did she. All right, roll it, Steve.
It was because you said, in answer to my question, was anything ever brought up to you about this meeting at Lank's house?
Mm-hmm.
You said yes.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they did talk to you about your testimony. It wasn't just about the process, correct?
I asked what discovery had been turned in regard to me.
So you wanted to prepare to make sure that you knew what you might be asked on cross-examination, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wanted to know what was coming. Yes.
And you knew
Yeah.
that one of the things was coming after this meet. Well, let me ask it a different way. During this meeting, did Mr. Lally tell you one of the things that's going to be coming is you had an off-the-books meeting at Lank's house for 45 minutes? Tell you that?
No, that's not how I was told.
Did he tell you that the defense had uncovered a report that established that you were actually at Michael Lank's house for 45 minutes that had never been reported to the defense or the prosecution before the phone extraction had been done? Did he tell you that?
I was asked, were you at Michael Lank's on the 30th?
So you've had a lot of time to come up with a story about why you were at Michael Lank's, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
I didn't need time to make up a story because I have the truth of why we went.
Say what?
Yeah.
Say what? They say what? She just say what?
And the truth, according to you, is you pulled up at Michael Lank's house. The first responding officer and friends of the elders had a meeting with him the next
Say what?
day that was never reported to anybody for any purpose.
I
Just met with his wife out in the car while the car was running.
For an hour.
Minutes to an hour.
Minutes to an hour.
That's your
Yeah.
story.
It's not a story, it's the truth. Carrie dropped her daughter off. The wife came out. Carrie is a talker. They started talking. A tragedy had happened the day before.
It is interesting, would you not agree, that the day before you had this off-the-books meeting at Michael Lang's house, Nicole Albert says, we'll get more info tomorrow.
Oh!
You show up at Lang's house.
Again, I never spoke with Mike Lang at his house.
You don't have
It was
to.
not an off-the-books.
You get all the information
It
from his
was
wife.
Carrie dropping her daughter at one of her good friends' house, whose husband happens to be a Canton cop. That is what it is. That is the truth.
Happened to be the first guy in the house.
That's, by the way, what did Mr. Lally show you in respect of this issue about this meeting at Michael Lang's house?
He showed me nothing.
He just told you about it.
Brian Tully told me.
Okay, what did Mr. Tully tell you? Trooper Tully, what exactly did he tell you at this meeting about this
She's like,
Michael Lang issue?
He said,
Yep.
did you go to
Yep.
Michael Lang's on January 30th? And at first I said, no, I've never been to his house. And then I thought about it and I said, oh my gosh, yes, I did go there. And that was the extent of the
I had been
conversation.
to his house.
You said, yeah, I did go there, and he didn't ask a follow-up, like, what the heck were you doing at Michael Lang's house the day after this issue?
Objection.
This incident?
I'll allow it.
He didn't ask a follow-up like that?
I do not believe he did.
So, Trooper Tully, had you come down for an interview, he confronted you with a fact that had never been disclosed before, to wit, you showed up at Michael Lang's house, and when you said, yeah, oh yeah, hang on, I think your words were, oh my gosh, yeah, I think I did go there. And he didn't ask a follow-up question?
He was there. You're
Keystone Cops,
spinning
man.
all of this.
No, he's not.
No, he's
I do
not.
a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't spin. There's a judge
Yeah.
here to make sure that I don't spin. I'm asking
Yeah.
you a question. It's very direct.
I do not believe he asked me a follow-up question.
So that was the end of that conversation about Michael Lang, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Lally didn't have any follow-up questions.
I don't believe Mr. Lally was in the room.
Who else? I thought you said Mr. Lally, Ms. McLaughlin.
They were. They might not have been in the room at that time.
I see. So Mr. Lally just happened to, just saunter out?
It was a different time.
So Mr. Lally was in and out of the conversation?
Mr. Lally was not there when this conversation happened.
Interesting.
Because I met with Brian Tully and he was not there.
Was Bryon Tully taking notes?
No.
Of course not.
He's a state trooper interviewing a witness, and
He was
Objection.
Sustained.
The same report that
Thank you,
has
Beth.
you at Michael Lang's house also has you picking up Nicole Albert going by 34 Fairview just before you went to Michael Lang's house. You aware of that?
We did not pick up Nicole Albert.
So you went by 34 Fairview, then diverted, and right after you went by 34 Fairview, went directly over to Michael Lang's house. What was the reason that you stopped by 34 Fairview first?
We didn't stop by. Maybe Carrie slowed down, but we did not stop by 34.
So you drove by, did a drive-by. 34.
Drive-by.
Forget
But
it.
you didn't stop.
No, that's how we get to Michael Lang's house.
If the report shows that you actually stopped at 34 Fairview and then went to Michael Lang's house, would we have another oh my gosh moment?
Nope, no oh my gosh moment. We
Oh,
did
now I
not.
remember now. We did.
Did anybody else go with you over to Michael Lang's house?
No, it was Carrie, myself, and her daughter.
Your Honor, maybe briefly.
Okay.
I think Jackson's about to slap her.
Oh, Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's going to regret that answer.
The sidebar is going to say, hey, I'm about to ask her these.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to allow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why do you think they stopped up at the house?
We're going to find out.
Yeah. I think Jackson's going to get us there.
Hopefully, if Auntie Bev allows it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
We're going to get more information tomorrow.
Yeah. It sounds like to me, every time somebody gets interviewed, Jen's the one updating everybody.
Listen.
This is what we're told. This is how far we're at. This is where we're at, and this is where we need to go to continue this facade.
No, you're fine. So this is...
Jules,
pause
we're
for
going
a
to try
second.
and go right up to 1.
So does the 2 girls in the car, 3 girls in the car, right?
Right.
There's a phone in the car.
Yep.
He could easily be talking to his wife on the phone with all 3 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't have to be in the car.
No, they could have done a bunch of shady stuff. Yeah.
So do we believe information was exchanged?
100%. They were
Absolutely.
telling each other everything.
Yep.
Come on, people. We're all humans. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Everybody talks. What did they ask you?
Yep.
What did you say?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So
1 o'clock, okay?
Ms. McCabe, we've talked in some detail about your calls with John O'Keefe on the morning of January 29th. Do you recall that
Yes.
conversation? I want to focus your attention on or about, or at or about 12:14 a.m., moving up to about 12:50 a.m. You have that time in mind?
Yes.
You've seen the Celebrite extraction from John O'Keefe's phone, which Mr. Lally showed you the other day, correct?
Correct.
And you went through the series of phone calls that were made and that appear on his extraction report, correct?
Correct.
I just
they were
want to
deleted.
run through those time-wise
Just saying.
very quickly, just to orient you, if I can, and then I'll ask you some specific questions about it. There was a call at 12:14 a.m., correct?
Correct.
That was a call that you indicated was answered. You had a conversation with Mr. O'Keefe.
Correct.
There was a call at 12:18 and 47 seconds. That call also was answered by you. John O'Keefe made that phone call, correct?
Correct.
Then there's the 12:29 and 44 second call that you indicated was not answered.
Correct.
And that was a call to you, from you to him.
Correct.
There was a 12:41 call from you to John O'Keefe, correct? That was,
Correct.
there was a 12:41 and 54 second call from you to him, is that right?
Correct.
There was a 12:43 and 19 second call from you to him.
Correct.
12:46 a.m. and 16 seconds from you to him.
does this not seem
47
fucking suspicious?
Correct.
and 12
Jeez.
37 seconds from
Frig, man.
correct?
Correct.
Simmer down now. Simmer
You
down now.
saw in his,
Just called this dude 18 times in 10 minutes, and
all of those calls after
Jeez.
12:15 were missed calls, correct?
In his report that you
look at
showed.
Karen.
Correct. In other words, the only 2 calls that were answered were the 12:14 and 12:18. Everything else was a missed call.
I believe so. I would have to refer to it again because I've seen so many reports.
I've seen so
And Ms. McCabe, according to the extraction reports that you've seen this morning, comparing yours to his, every single one of those calls was deleted off your phone. Correct?
Not by me.
According to the reports.
Yeah.
According to that report, yes.
Let me ask you another question. Have you ever misplaced your phone?
Yes.
Just in life. Everybody does it, right?
Yes.
What's one of the first things you do if you're with your daughter or your husband or a friend and you're in your house and you misplace your phone? What do you do?
Call it.
I'll ask them to call my phone.
Gee, call my phone, bro.
Even over and over and over, right?
Correct.
Could be as many as 5, 6, 7 times.
10.
Usually I hear it the first or second time.
You're looking for a buzz.
Unless it's
or
under a
ring,
body.
Isn't that right?
Correct.
And you might do that if you're searching for a missing phone, correct? correct?
Correct.
With regard to the calls that were deleted from your phone, you were asked about this under oath at another proceeding, weren't you?
Correct.
And you claimed at another proceeding that you had an explanation for all these missed calls starting at 12:29, 12:41, 12:41, 12:43, 12:46, 12:47.
Let's hear this.
12:50. You have an explanation for that, right?
Can I see the report?
I'm asking you about your prior testimony.
Yeah,
And I'm
just
asking-
About these calls.
Yes, I'm asking, can I see it, please?
now,
I'm
she's,
asking you a
now,
different
now the
question.
biatch is
At
coming
your
out.
At this other proceeding,
Getting defensive.
Yes.
right? You explained that these calls were what? These missed calls, incessant missed calls. What were they? You used a word. Matter of fact, it's 2 words.
I believe I used the word butt dials.
The famous butt dial.
Every
Wow,
one of
let's
these
just-
calls was a butt dial. Is that right?
So you can just get away with
Yes.
murder now just by saying, oh, it was a butt dial, and I didn't do that.
So according to you, you literally
And delete
butt
all the
dialed
calls.
And delete all the calls.
John O'Keefe's phone 6 times in the span of 19 minutes. Is that right?
I don't remember making any of those calls, so my assumption
Of
is I put
course
my
not.
phone in my
Gee.
back pocket.
You and the Alberts can never remember anybody that you call,
Yeah,
ever. And it's all butt dials.
Someone
yeah,
by mistake.
big asses, I guess.
Amazing how that is. Justin can't.
Down, the phone has to be open. You'll agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Can't be locked. Because it takes several iterations of movement. to get
Yeah.
the phone
Come
open.
on.
Face ID or password.
I'm over the whole
Correct.
butt dial
So when you
thing.
hit the button by mistake, walk away. That's a butt dial. People call butt dials. What happens with the call?
I assume it goes to voicemail.
It's a good assumption because that's exactly what it does, isn't it? You've had a phone for a lot of years, right?
Yes,
It rings and rings and rings until it goes to voicemail.
correct.
Yours didn't.
So in order to hang
Yeah,
up that
yeah.
butt dial,
Yeah.
you have to interact
then
with
call
that
it again.
phone yet again, don't you?
Yes.
So if you had 6 butt dials, 7, I think it's 7 butt dials,
Which would be a miracle.
you'd not only have to interact with the phone once to butt dial, John, you'd then have to interact with it every single time
Second time.
to turn off that phone ringer so it doesn't go to voicemail, wouldn't you?
I suppose.
Which makes 14 interfaces with
Interactions.
that phone over the course of 19 minutes.
19 minutes. You'd
Is that
remember
right?
that.
You remember that.
I mean, I guess I don't have it all right in front of me, but there were also text messages I was sending.
It's irrelevant.
Again,
So how could it be a butt dial?
Yeah.
I said, oh, shoot,
it's
I
irrelevant.
called them, and then I turned it off.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
It's amazing how she remembers. Oh, shoot, maybe I did this.
Those incessant butt dials and those incessant hang-ups,
Oh.
correct?
I honestly don't.
So you would have had to forget.
She was in shock and awe.
You interacted with, by the way,
She doesn't remember.
extraction shows that John O'Keefe got no voices from you, right?
I didn't look, but
So that means you would have had to interact with that phone
Pause it, Steve.
14 times.
14
So her
times.
interactions 14 times, right? And she also said that there was text messages between those.
Yeah,
Let's see them.
Did you see? And she messed up.
Yeah.
Because she's saying it was in her back pocket the entire time.
Yeah.
And now she's saying, well, it was in between texting.
Yeah.
Was it in your back pocket or not?
Yeah.
Were you texting and calling or not? Which was it? And again, because she's lying, so she's just spitting stuff
And the
out.
thing is,
and then
too,
that's where you're gonna. That's where she's gonna mess
If
up.
you
with
pull
the
your
lies.
iPhone out and you're gonna send a text message, you don't. You have to go to the contacts.
Yeah.
So for her to say, "Oh, I
Or
actually,"
you actually have to hit text message, and
Right.
then you can go to your old stream,
Right.
stream or what do they call it? Strand or text.
text chat, text
What do they call it?
stream, text.
IT guy
No,
with
no,
Steve.
no. Wait, no. We don't need him for this. Thread.
Oh God, I
son
never
of a
would have got
bitch.
that. I wasn't even thinking thread.
I was there.
I
I was there. Yeah. See. All right. Roll
What
it.
did I say? Stream?
Yeah.
Did I say stream?
Shred. No, you said shred.
Shred?
Shred.
Shred?
No.
Shut up.
What'd you
You're
say?
confused. I'm all confused. I'm discombobulated.
What did you say?
Stop attacking me. I feel
Text.
threatened right now.
Text.
I object. Sustained.
Roll it.
Roll it.
Over the course of 19 minutes at the exact time frame that the Commonwealth suggests John O'Keefe lost his life.
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask that differently, and this will be your last question for today, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
What? She's bossy.
The period between
I got 20 more questions, girl.
and 12:50,
Okay, hold on.
which is the exact period that you were, quote, butt dialing John multiple times. That's also the exact period that John O'Keefe was rendered incapacitated. Isn't that right?
Objection.
That's sustained. We'll start up again tomorrow, okay?
Having looked
Oh,
at
that
this
was
set of
fast for
records,
hours.
does this appear to be an accurate
good day.
reflection of
Oh,
the
we're back.
you shared with Michael Proctor at some point on and after January 29th?
Yes.
Just to summarize those, and I don't want to belabor this, but there was a call on the 29th at 10:55 a.m. with Trooper Proctor, correct?
Correct.
There was a call on the 29th at 12:49 p.m., correct?
I didn't memorize them.
I understand. Would you?
So if you want to give me the paper back, then I could probably answer correctly.
You want to do
Okay.
it that way, we certainly can. May I?
Yes.
Thank you.
You may.
Thank you.
We do this all day long, son.
Yeah. Yeah, all those calls. They were looking for his phone, straight up.
Yep.
They were looking for John's phone. They couldn't find it. It was under his body, period. It's the only reason she would call him
January
7
29th,
times.
10:55 a.m.
18
Trooper
minutes.
Proctor calls you for 1 minute and 17 seconds.
Correct.
Next tab, January 29th, 12:49 p.m. Trooper Proctor calls you for 1 minute and 8 seconds.
Correct.
January 30th at 9:51 a.m. You called Trooper Proctor, 4-second call, probably a voicemail or something.
Correct.
January 30th, a minute later, 9:52 a.m. You then called Trooper Proctor again, 21 minutes and 31 seconds for that call.
Playing phone tag.
Correct.
Now they're talking.
January
21
30th,
minutes.
same day, 4:45
Long time.
p.m. Trooper Proctor calls you for 9 minutes and 43 seconds.
Correct.
January
right?
31st, the next day, at 11:51 a.m., you called Trooper Proctor for 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Correct.
That is the sum of those call logs, correct?
Correct.
Can I approach?
Yes.
You know what I like to
Give me
know
your
is
contact information to start with, okay? What's your cell?
Larissa Halpert,
What's her address?
117 Von Bergen Street.
Hello.
Hey, Ryan. This is Michael. Calling from Wonderland.
You mean Neverland?
Those aren't all the calls that you had with Trooper Proctor. That didn't stop. It's just where these logs stop, correct?
I'd have to see my further call logs.
Do you believe that you've had additional phone calls?
Do you want to pause it for a
after
second?
that last call on the 30th?
I would like to know how many times Trooper Proctor got phone calls from other people. You know?
Right.
How many times did he call Jen? Was Jen the number one person he called? Or when she called him, you know, incoming calls? Was
Right.
Jen the most, the number that he called from?
She sounds like she's the star actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
She
she's
seems
a
like
director
she's
or
a
something.
star witness.
Yeah.
Like, why is everybody calling her so much? Proctor's calling her, what, he called her 6 times in 4 days,
Yeah.
four or 5 days?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they talking about
Exactly.
so much?
I don't get it either. That's
Yeah, I
that's
don't
why I'm
get it.
wondering why.
Yeah, these people.
Besides the fact that they're exchanging information, that's why. But
That's why.
but
That we
that should
know
never
why they're
happen.
talking, but that is so unusual.
the thing is, if she is this important to the case, bring her ass in,
yeah,
interview her,
get her on tape.
tape it, right?
Yep.
Lock her into it.
Yep, get her on tape.
But she'll have oh wow, that's what that meant. She was telling me,
Yeah.
oh, I just that one thing.
Well, I
So she-
remembered, and then I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's what I remembered.
yeah.
She's really good at that.
Yeah.
Which means, oh my god, I'm lying my ass off,
Yeah.
and I'm just making shit up now.
Yep.
That's what it says to me.
Yep.
And him.
Yeah. And pretty
First?
I know I did in 2023.
Okay. In 2022, did you have additional phone calls with her?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at phone records.
Well, let's get those phone records for you, shall we?
May I inquire? Yes, thank you. Ms. McCabe, I don't have the records in front of me.
Oh.
that you will. They'll be found before the end of our conversation. But in the meantime, for expedition, do you remember a call on February 14th with Trooper Proctor lasting about 17 minutes?
I don't know.
Do you remember a call on February 17th lasting about 2 minutes?
I don't know.
Do you remember a call on February 28th lasting about 2 minutes?
I don't recall. Again, if it's hard.
I expect that your answer is going to be I don't recall, but I want to make a record if I could. So this is not a test of your memory at this point. I don't expect you to have it memorized.
Yep.
I just want to ask if maybe one of these stand out in your mind.
Let the jurors hear it.
What about a second call on February 28th lasting about a minute?
Don't recall.
On March 1st, another call with Trooper Proctor lasting about a minute.
I do not recall.
Apparently a second call on March 1st lasting about 2 minutes and a few seconds.
I don't recall.
On March 11th, another call in the afternoon lasting about 12 minutes.
I don't recall.
And finally, a call toward the end of March, March 29th, lasting about 4 minutes.
Again, I don't recall.
Okay.
Don't recall.
Understood that this is not a memory test.
I
I don't
think
have
she
the
said
records
all
in
day.
front of me,
Yeah.
So I apologize about that. Based on the conversation that we've just had, does that jog your memory that you had multiple calls in February and March with Trooper Proctor, as well as the calls we've gone over with the records in January?
To be honest, I had calls with many people. I was in a state of shock for months following this. So if you have the record, I can answer off of that. But besides that,
You know,
just
she loves being a
reminding me
victim.
does not jog my memory. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You wouldn't quarrel with the idea.
stayed in shock
I don't
for
want to
months.
hold you to a number. You wouldn't quarrel with the idea that you had multiple calls with Trooper Proctor in January, in February, in March, correct?
In March.
Well, the ones I've just saw on the record, yes, there were multiple calls there.
And of course, you met him in your home on January 29th.
Yes, I did.
And he came into your living room. You had a conversation with him.
In my dining room, yes.
I'm sorry, your dining room. And also, Carrie Roberts was there
Carrie Roberts was not there.
on the 29th.
Carrie Roberts was not at my house on the 29th, no.
When was she at your house when she was interviewed?
The 29th.
I believe that was the Tuesday, whatever the date was.
Maybe first? That sound right? First or second?
Yeah, something. It was the Tuesday following,
Okay. And was that with Trooper Proctor or a different trooper?
a different trooper.
And with Trooper Proctor on the 29th, when he was interviewing you in your dining room, that was the day that Bryon Albert was also there.
Correct.
And was Bryon Albert also interviewed on that day?
I believe so.
So Trooper Proctor was in your house for, gosh, it had to have been an hour.
I'm not sure. After I interviewed, I went upstairs, and then my children started waking up, and I was tied upstairs for a while. I'm not sure when or how long he was there.
But your memory is clear that not only did you meet Trooper Proctor on that day, you had a full conversation with him. It was in your house, that was in your kitchen, in your dining room, and another witness was interviewed by Trooper Proctor in your home as well.
Correct.
And then you had multiple conversations with him in January on that day, the day after, and the day after that. You've already seen those records, correct?
Yes, correct.
Then in either September or October, you were interviewed by Lieutenant Tully. That's the report that you've already seen.
Correct.
And in that interview, you were asked specifically whether or not you had a relationship with Trooper Proctor and when that relationship started, correct?
Correct.
And you said, quote, you had never met Elizabeth Proctor or Michael Proctor prior to September 2023, correct?
I did not say that.
So yet again, this is another example of a trooper completely getting it wrong.
Getting
Is that right?
your words wrong. Cops do that all the time.
Oh, not him again.
Sustained, ask it differently.
In your view, did Lieutenant Tully get your statement wrong that you had never met Trooper Proctor before September of 2023?
Objection.
Is that true or is that wrong?
Lieutenant Tully knew I met Proctor prior to that because Proctor was the one who did the initial interview on January 29th.
Does it make you wonder why he wrote in his statement, quote, you
Objection, Your
never
Honor.
met Elizabeth Proctor or Michael Proctor prior to September 2023.
So the objection sustained.
If you indicated that you had never met Trooper Proctor before September of 2023, that would be a false statement, correct?
Objection.
You can answer that, Ms. McCabe.
I met Proctor January 29th. It's
False
everywhere.
statement. If you said it, would it have been false? That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
So it was false.
After all that.
So he just got to admit that basically she
On
lied.
January 29th, in the early morning hours, I want to take you all the way back to 1:30, 1:45 a.m. when you left 34 Fairview on the 29th. After you dropped off the girls, where did you and Matt McCabe go?
We came home.
After you got home, you indicated that you went upstairs, correct?
Correct.
After you went upstairs, you indicated that you got on the phone.
Correct.
On your cell phone, correct?
She knows.
After you got on your cell
She's
phone,
looking at lollipop like, oh.
searching for stuff.
Correct.
So if there's GPS that
Reading
you see
material.
forensic extraction,
Reading supplies.
correct?
Duct tape.
Which one are you referring to?
Phone. The forensic extraction of your phone.
I saw what you showed me yesterday from Celebrate.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
From the right part of it.
I saw, the phone calls, yes.
Okay. You're aware that that extraction shows that you got home after 2 a.m. or so that would be generally correct.
Correct.
The Celebrite extraction shows from your Apple Health data that you actually went up a set of stairs. That would be accurate, correct?
Accurate.
The Celebrite data shows that you actually logged into your phone, did a login, either Face ID or a passcode, opened up the phone. That would be accurate.
Correct.
The Celebrite
butt dial's
data
there.
shows that you were engaging with an app called Safari to engage some Google searches, correct?
Yes.
That would be generally accurate as well, correct?
Yes.
So after you opened up Safari, you indicated that you Google searched something about ozone basketball. Is that right?
Yes.
That was sometime after 2 a.m.,
Set up.
right?
Yes.
I love it.
What was so important about ozone basketball at 2 a.m. that it couldn't wait until the morning? Why did you search it then?
Well, first I was home, I was wide awake, and I had been texting about a basketball chat, and basketball was clearly on my mind. My daughter had been invited to join a team. I didn't know much about the team, so I just was like Googling to see, because the woman who had given my daughter the offer had wanted an answer.
So you say that basketball was on your mind, correct?
Yes.
Was there anything else on your mind in that early morning hour time frame?
Don't believe so.
Ms. McCabe, if you wanted to know
Let's refresh your
in
memory.
general
Let's refresh
how
it.
long it takes for a
Shall
human
we?
being to pass away because of exposure to extreme temperatures, right? If you wanted to know the answer to that,
Oh my gosh, she's fucking.
what would you Google
sweat
search? What
balls.
phrase would you use?
How long?
House long.
I'm not sure. All I recall is what the defendant asked me to Google in the morning.
If you wanted to know, I'm asking a different question. If you personally wanted to know, how long does it take for a person to die of exposure due to extreme temperatures? What would you put in? What phrase would you use?
Objection.
Sustained.
Well, we don't have to guess at the phrase that you would use if you wanted to know something about dying of hypothermia, do we? That's right. Because you actually Google searched it.
Objection.
Let's take a look.
Sustained. Ask that differently, please.
Did you, in fact, use a phrase to Google search how long it takes for someone to die of extreme temperatures?
I did in the morning at the request of your client.
And what phrase did you use?
I'm not sure.
Really?
Correct.
all know it.
I was
2.5 years of this, you don't know the phrase that you used?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
There's so many lies and
There's no
misconceptions
question.
on social media.
Question.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
Are you telling me you don't remember what Google search you put in?
Karen was screaming. My hands were shaking, and she was saying, Google hypothermia, how long does it take to die in the cold?
And what phrase did you put in your phone? I'm just asking you to say it.
Why don't you show me it?
You literally don't remember?
Again, she was screaming, Google hypothermia, how long does it take
Somebody
to
asked.
die in the cold?
How about,
And I picked up my phone and I started Googling.
and you literally, to this day, right now, under oath, you're saying you don't remember that phrase that you used.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Is that what you're saying?
Say it.
I'm saying that at her
Do you remember it or do you not, Miss McCabe? That's a simple question.
Say the words.
that morning, I don't remember specifically what I Googled, but I do know what you've put out to the social media.
How about this?
Oh.
Costs long to die in cold. Does that sound
He
familiar?
put out?
It's been everywhere
Why does that sound so familiar?
because you've put it out in social media.
Well, I haven't put anything out in social media because I don't personally have social media.
I'm sorry, Turtle.
So if the world happens to know it,
She's told
that's
30
not
right
right,
now.
is it?
I guess not.
I guess not. Costs long to die in cold is what you put in to the Google search, right?
If you say so.
Is there a reason that you don't want to admit to that?
Absolutely not.
It's a simple question, right?
No reason.
So say it. What Google search did you use?
Objection.
I object, Your Honor.
Dang it.
Sustained.
You're as cold as ice. You never take advice. Someday you'll pay the price.
You were seeking at some point to Google how long to die in the cold, correct?
Correct.
And you made a mistake and mistakenly typed long to die in cold, correct?
If you could show me it, I'd appreciate it.
You later Google searched,
Cold as ice, man.
may I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Someday she'll
Willing
pay
to
the price.
sacrifice. Someday she'll pay the price. She's willing to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Take a look at that report and tell me if that refreshes your recollection.
Does this refresh your recollection? It's gonna.
Yes, it does.
Does that appear to be an accurate page from a Celebrite extraction from your phone?
It does.
Okay. May I have that?
Does.
I'm sorry, may I approach?
Yes.
May I have that back for a second?
Give me that.
She's scanning quick.
Did you see
Give me that.
the actual search phrase? Does
Yes.
that now refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Yeah. House long to die. Cool. We all know it.
Does this appear to be the document that was just marked as Exhibit 99?
Yes.
I know it's a little bit small, Mr. Dixon.
Think it's gonna get worse?
Yes.
I do.
You see
Yes.
this column,
Yes.
third column from the, actually it's the fourth column from the left. One, some dates, some data, and then a Google search, correct?
Correct.
What does that Google search say?
House long to die in cold.
So you finally got her to say it.
How did it say it?
Finally got her to say it.
Indicate that you did that, you made that search at 6:23 a.m., correct?
Correct.
And then you indicated that you did it again thereafter at 6:24, correct?
Correct.
At 6:24, you misspelled the phrase and you spelled it as follows: how long T-I die in C-I-K-D, correct?
Correct.
Now you claim that those two searches were at 6:23 and 6:24 a.m. respectively, correct?
Objection.
Phrase it differently.
Sure.
Where is it?
You've indicated under direct examination that these two searches were at 6:23 and 6:24 a.m., right?
I don't know if I gave exact times, but I said it was in the morning and Karen had asked me to do it.
And you, exactly, you claimed that you searched it because Karen was screaming at you and yelling at you, Google hypothermia, and you Googled how long does it take for a person to die, I'm sorry, she said something like how long does it take for a person to die of hypothermia, and you Google searched it at 6:23 and 6:24. Is that right?
Again, I'm not sure about the exact times. I just did it after Karen asked me to do it.
Would you quarrel with the idea that those were about 30 seconds apart?
Okay.
And you're aware, Ms. McCabe, that both spellings, both misspellings of that phrase result in the exact same search results, don't they?
I'm not aware of that, no.
Well, you Googled them, ma'am. You're looking on your phone and you Googled them.
But I'm shaking, I'm cold.
I'm in trauma.
Trauma.
I'm in trauma and hard.
CIKD. Both of those. You Googled them, right?
I did, yes.
And they result in the exact same search results, don't they?
I have no idea.
So my question to you is, why the two searches?
She was standing next to me, screaming, shaking my hand. My hand was cold. I was trying to Google it. Obviously, maybe whatever came up first didn't make sense because I had some misspellings, so I did it again.
So Hoslong
So she was shaking her hand? Why was she shaking her hand?
in articles concerning dying of exposure.
Fine.
She just said she was shaking my hand.
Never
It's
had a chance to
cold.
read it.
You're the one
me help,
you say
help me,
we.
help me.
Who's we?
Karen and myself.
Well, you're the one holding the phone, Ms. McCabe.
Correct.
So you're looking down at your phone and you see exactly what comes up, correct?
I don't remember exactly what came up.
Well, what came up was something about dying of hypothermia, didn't it?
That's what she asked.
So why do it again? Why do it again, Miss McCabe? You had the result. Why the second search?
I cannot answer that beyond telling you that my hands were frozen. She was shaking me and screaming at
But
me.
you had it on your
Pause it
screen.
for a second.
You see,
That's what he's trying to say.
Dude, do you see how aggressive and animated he is?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just setting her up, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What? You have the exact same results. Why do it
Yeah.
again?
Yeah.
He's playing mind games with her. He's trying to get her, in my opinion, how was it? What's the three letters? IMO?
In my opinion,
Yeah.
yes, IMO.
IMO. He's trying to get her off her game.
Right.
And he's going to slap her like a little.
It reminds me of A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he's trying to get him
Yeah.
to admit, did you order the code red?
Yeah,
Did you order it?
exactly.
And he's getting him, and then he finally, did you order the code red? And you're damn right I did. You're damn right I did.
So this is what's happening
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
the time, let me scroll up, please. According to the Celebrate data,
Where is it at? There it is.
this first search that says Hoslong to dying cold.
I do.
And this says,
It's right there.
What's that time?
2:27 in the morning.
It's right over at 2:27
AM or PM?
where?
a.m.
Bingo.
Deleted?
Ms. McCabe,
Yes.
you made that search at 2:27 a.m. because you knew that John O'Keefe was outside in your sister's lawn dying in the cold, didn't you?
Absolutely not. I did not make that search at that time. No.
Realized the next
Yeah, you
morning, after John
You're
was
alive.
discovered, after 6 a.m., that you had an incriminating search on your phone, didn't you?
Absolutely not.
Yep.
To cover
Exactly
your tracks, you searched it again in
did it.
order to overwrite the original search at 2:27, correct?
Again, absolutely not.
I don't know if that
But you were
works, but
nervous. And you
Bullshit.
screwed it up. So the first search you made at 6:23 was Hoslong to die in CIKD, wasn't it?
No.
When you see the search
right there.
right there,
Yeah, you
Right.
even admitted you
I see
misspelled
the
it. 'cause
search,
you were
but I disagree
freezing
with your
and you were in
narrative.
trauma.
what's the time frame of that search?
6:23.
And you agree that that time frame is accurate, right?
Again, it's what the report says.
And that comports with your memory of that morning, about 6:23 in the morning and 51 seconds.
Correct.
There's a second search, correct?
Correct.
And this one at 6:24 says Hoslong to die in cold. 6:24:16, correct?
Correct.
I'm sorry, 18. I was that great. And that comports with your memory as well.
I remember Googling it at the request of the defendant. Yes.
About 27 seconds apart, correct?
It doesn't matter who it came from.
Yes.
She did it.
But the reality is, your first search didn't comport with the 2:27 a.m. search, did it? It was a different spelling, wasn't it?
I never searched a 227. That is not
It's right there on your phone.
But the 624 search did exactly mirror the search that, according to this report, took place at 227, correct?
I'm sure Celebrate will be able to explain it to you. I can't.
It's right there, lady.
Right, they did explain it.
One of them ended up deleted. Isn't that right?
I never deleted any search.
Denied.
Take a look at the Celebrate report. Top search. And the column marked deleted. What do you
Proof
see?
is in the pudding.
I see a yes.
This doesn't lie, lady. Jen. Darth Jen.
Make sure you highlight that yes.
Darth Jen. The computer's not going to lie.
That 2:27 a.m. call is because you realized that if you were caught Googling how long it takes for a person to die in the cold 3.5 hours before John's body was found, that would incriminate you, wouldn't it?
Objection.
The objection sustained.
Of course
Did
it
you
is.
delete that search because you knew that you would be implicated in John O'Keefe's death if that search was found on your phone?
Yes.
Objection.
I'll let you. Could you answer that, please?
I did not delete that search. I never made that search at 2:23. I never would have left John O'Keefe out in the cold to die because he was my friend that I loved.
But he's not your family, is he?
My douche.
And friends.
Is he
Objection.
not?
Boom!
Sustained.
You acknowledge that you made the search at 6:23, don't you?
In the morning I did, yes.
Acknowledge that you made the search at
So full
6:24.
of it.
Multiple times in the morning, yes.
Of the 3 searches that show up that were all found on your phone, the one that you disavow is the one that took place at 2:27 a.m., which would implicate you and exonerate my client, correct?
Objection.
Isn't that convenient?
Sustained. Can I ask it
Convenient
differently,
for that
Mr.
too.
Jackson?
Oh, why? You're just going to sustain
Of
it?
those 3 searches, there was only one marked deleted. Isn't that right?
Correct.
That was the
What
one
time
at
was that?
2:27 a.m., correct?
I wouldn't even know how to go in and delete a search.
That's not the question.
The one according to the Celebrate report that was deleted, the one at 2:27 a.m., correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's all I wanted.
Jeez.
You would agree that that's awfully convenient for you, isn't it?
Objection.
That's what I said.
Objection.
That's what I said too.
Okay, Mr. Valley?
I should be a lawyer and a judge.
No.
Yeah.
Pretty incriminating. Pretty incriminating.
I don't like Darth Jen.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I don't know.
Listen.
She's not a cop. We did it. We reviewed her anyway because everybody wanted us to, and that was horrible.
Gave me a heart attack.
That was horrible. She's a horrible liar. She's stone cold. I don't think she can feel empathy.
And the thing is this, Brian, let me say something about smartphones. And probably in the last 5 years, we've all became blue faces, right? We're always staring at our phones, doing this,
Well,
doing that, right?
Some people
Right,
are.
right.
Yeah, not me,
But the fact
some
is,
people are.
you know how to delete a search. You know how to delete a phone call. You know how to delete a text thread, text string,
String thread.
text thread.
Some people like I don't. I wouldn't know how to start deleting stuff. I mean, I know I can swipe left and I hit that red X. But
That's it.
Oh, does that take it off your phone
same
though?
thing, yeah.
That doesn't take it off your phone.
No,
though.
no, it takes off your phone, but not off the.
That's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't like it.
You can't delete it off the.
I would never
the
be dirty
printout.
because I wouldn't know how to
But
clean it up.
we all know how to use our phones,
I know how to use my phone. Correct.
right?
Yeah.
But when she says I don't know how to delete it, I don't believe it because we all know how to delete.
See, mine would have been my next text or Google search would have been, how do I delete a Google search? I would have been screwed. How do I delete a Google search so I don't look incriminating?
Yeah, too late.
And they were like, well, Brian, it's all right here. Yeah, I know. Just see?
Too late.
Just take me. I
Too
did
late.
it, but, you know.
But that was interesting. Action
was-
Jackson comes out again, dude. I'm telling
And,
you. He sets them up.
He does.
And he bowls them down like bowling pins.
But that's why he's so good.
Yeah.
And that's what a good lawyer will do. They'll catch you slipping, man.
Yeah.
That's their job.
But a good lawyer
Well, no. Well, I think Jackson's pretty pricey, man.
Yeah, I'm saying he's expensive.
He's expensive,
He's
but there's a
expensive.
reason he's expensive.
Yeah, he's good.
Now
He's
that
good.
they're bringing in this Whitey Bulger's lawyer for the retrial,
Yeah.
I think we talked about it on the live. I thought it was more of a scare tactic. You know what I mean? Because the evidence doesn't change. Nothing changes. Now everything that she just said is in court under oath.
Yep.
Right? So everything and all that evidence. So
Yep.
it doesn't matter if you bring in a $2 million lawyer, $2 lawyer,
Damage
or
has been done.
$100 million lawyer. Evidence is evidence. Evidence does not change.
Yeah.
Testimony now cannot change.
Yeah. Married to it.
You're married to it.
Yeah.
So to me, it's, I don't know, maybe a waste of money. Who's paying for that? Is it
Probably got Commonwealth. Well,
the Commonwealth at Canton is going to,
it probably.
they're going to fit the bill
Yeah.
for this high priced lawyer who's
Yeah.
really, it's just going to be a dog and pony show.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's
And,
the
you know
outcome
what?
is going to be
Listen,
rendered the same.
The thing is this, though, we don't know what the FBI has.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
The
Yeah.
FBI can say, no, she's free. You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Bev, your bar's been pulled.
Yeah. Yeah. She's, I don't like the way she handles the courtroom.
Right.
You know,
So-
I don't want to diss on her, but I don't personally think she's doing a good job in this case.
No, I don't think so either.
And she appears biased.
Yeah. I absolutely.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, we got some videos coming your way. I'm going to spin it a little bit.
Yeah.
Get back to our roots a little bit. The next couple videos, maybe some body cam stuff and some cool stuff. I think you guys will like it.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find
We'll
out.
find out.
Yeah.
But stick with us. It's a crazy ride, but it's a good ride.
Yeah, we got memberships to bring that up.
Oh yeah. Become a member.
Yeah.
Hit the subscribe button.
Yeah.
Hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up button.
I'm going to be a rookie.
Is there any other buttons?
I'm going to be a rookie.
You're going to be a rookie?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even get memberships.
Yeah. We're gonna come up with some new merch too, some other stuff that some stickers and stuff like that.
Yeah, stickers, sayings,
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Like badoosh.
Badoosh. Like, I got the goose pimples.
I got the goose pimples. Yeah, so
And handle your business,
exactly.
people.
Yeah.
Handle your
None of your
business.
business.
And I always like the one that I've been saying for 20 years. If you comply,
You will
You
not,
will not die.
die. I don't know if we can do that one though.
yeah. Is that too bad? No. It's the truth, but
Yeah.
maybe that's too edgy
That-
for
yeah.
nowadays. I don't know.
We might leave that for the legendary people if we
Yeah.
ever get any.
All right. Okay. It's been a long day for us, 18-hour day.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.
And for those who are still serving, stay safe out there. Did I mess up?
Oh, safe toward duty. Stay safe out
I
there. It's
messed
good
up.
enough.
Yeah. It's been a long day.
Make a difference in someone's life. Stay classy, Las Vegas. And ride-alongs.
Oh, God, what's my line? Always.
You can tell it's been an 18-hour day. You know, we did a lot today. 6 hours. 6 hours sitting here.
I apologize.
Should we do that again?
No, we're fine. We're good. Thanks, Steve-O.
We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you.
Peace.
LVCopsTV out!
Yeah.
1 Sam 5 and 1 Sam 6, copy of 425 call.
Copy. 1 Sam 5 en route.
1 Sam 6, copy, en route.